life, to make alive, to resuscitate, and to make conscious. Now let's read verse 2. And she again bare his brother Abel, and Abel was a keeper of sheep, but Cain was a tiller of the ground. We're going to look at the word keeper. The Strong's number 7462. 7462. And we have the word ra'ah. Ra'ah is the resh. We have the ayin. And we have the hay. And this is ra'ah. Now, we're going to go real slow because there's something that we should be gathering out of this here. Because I'm going to be asking questions. And again, she bare now his brother Abel, and Abel was a keeper. The word keeper is describing again Abel's character. Abel was a keeper of pasture. A keeper of pasture. To tend the pasture, to graze, and to feed the pasture. He was a shepherd, to be a ruler, a teacher of people as flock. And the Pa'el definition means that he was to be a special friend. So we see all of these characteristics of Abel: breath, life, resuscitation, consciousness, and we have again, he's a teacher of people, he's feeding a flock, and he's also now a special friend. Now, it also makes mention now that Abel, okay, by his name, we're talking about life, he was a keeper also now of sheep. When we look at the word sheep, it's the Strong's number 6629, and the Hebrew word is very, very interesting. Let me try to spell this correctly. We have the word we have the ayin, excuse me, the za sound. Then we have the aleph. We have the u, and then we have the nun. Now you might see it this way too. The sadeh. We have the aleph, and we have the nun. That word sheep is actually, we have T, Z-A-O-N, Zion. I found it very interesting. We have the word Zion. Israel is referred to as sheep, as flock in Scripture. Abel, Ra'ah, okay, so he was actually now a keeper of sheep, which is the word Zion or Zion, the same as Z-I-O-N, Zion, referring to the land. But we're going to take it one step at a time. Abel was also a teacher of, by characteristics, a teacher of people. He was also supposed to now tend the sheep, to feed the sheep, and we have scriptures to support that. We have the book of Matthew, the 10th chapter, verse 5 and 6. And we're going to have Shalak Yahu's Isha, if she could read that for me, please. Yes, the book of Matthew. Let me just catch up with you. Because what we're trying to show here is the characteristics of Abel. The book of Matthew, the 10th chapter, verse 5 through 6. Okay, I'm all ready. 10th chapter, verses 5 through 6. What we're trying to show here now is that by description of Abel, we had that he tended sheep and flock, or flocks.
That's the scripture you want, Warren?
Yes, Matthew 10, 5 through 6. I'm ready.
Yahusha sent these 12 out, having commanded them, saying, do not go into the way of the nations, and do not enter the city of Shemaraim,
Yes, Samaritans.
but rather go to the lost sheep of those of Yashra'al.
Exactly. So we have here now tending sheep. So these prophets here now are going out now to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. But we also see now that this is one of the characteristics now of Abel. All right, let's go to the book of Ezekiel, the 34th chapter, verse 6. 34, verse 6. If we can get Moray to read that for me, please. Ezekiel, the 34th chapter, verse 6.
Ezekiel 34 and 6. My sheep wandered through all the mountains.
Right, my sheep, which is now a personal now, this is a personal pronoun actually, because now we're talking about identification. Somebody owns these sheep. My sheep, read on.
My sheep wandered through all the mountains, and upon every high hill. Yea, my flock was scattered upon all the face of the earth, and none did search or seek after them.
Right, hallelujah. So again, looking at Abel, that righteous Zadok bloodline. Look at Abel's characteristics. Do anybody see a similarity with Abel with someone else? Exactly. So it was always about the Mashiyach, okay, from the very beginning. It was always about redemption for a people in the latter times, because right here now is the infancy stage of the nation of Yashra'al. But it has to go through now the bloodline. It has to go through Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and then we have now the 12 tribes of Israel. It has to go through a process, and that's going to be also very important. Yekezikiel, the book of Ezekiel 34, verse 8, Moray, please.
As I live,
7 through 8.
7 to 8. Therefore, ye shepherds,
And Abel was a shepherd.
hear the word of Yahuah.
You're talking about hearing all over again.
As I live, saith Yahuah thy Elohim, surely because my flock became
My
a
flock
prey.
is also associated with Abel. Read on.
My flock became a prey, and my flock became meat to every beast of the field. Because there was no shepherd, neither did my shepherd search for my flock.
Wow, hallelujah. So I'll just read it one more time. As I live, saith Yahuah Elohim, surely because my flock became a prey, and my flock became meat to every beast of the field, talking about the other nations, which is the beast, because there was no shepherd, and we're supposed to be the shepherds, neither did my shepherds search for my flock, but the shepherds fed themselves and fed not my people, or my flock. We're going to go to Isaiah 53 and 6. Isaiah 53 and 6. 53 verse 6. Verse 6, all. When it says all, it means exactly that. All we like sheep have gone astray. We have turned everyone to his own way. And Yahuah have laid on him the iniquity of us all. So who's all of this being placed upon? The Mashiyach again. All of this now is pointing back to the Mashiyach. That's the reason we had talked about earlier, prophetic themes of the Mashiyach. Prophetic themes of the Mashiyach. We're going to go to Yahuah, the book of Zechariah. Zechariah. Book of Zechariah. We're going to go to chapter 11. And I'm going to read verses 4 through 9. And I'm going to need everybody to pay very close attention. 11:49. We good?
4 through 9 or 49?
11 chapter verses 4 through 9. Isaiah 4 through 9. Zechariah. Ready for 2 minutes? Okay. I read verse 4. Thus saith Yahuah, my Elohim, feed the flock of the slaughter. Thus saith Yahuah, my Elohim, feed the flock of the slaughter, whose possessors slay them, hold themselves not guilty. Okay? And they that sell the say, blessed be Yahuah, for I am rich, and their own shepherds pity them not. Okay? Verse 6. For I will have no more pity than the inhabitants of the land. I will have no more pity on the inhabitants of the land, saith Yahuah. But lo, I will deliver the men, every one into his neighbor's hand, and into the hand of his king. And they shall smite the land, and of their hand I will not deliver them. So we see what's about to happen here now is that the Father is about to strike the land. And so talking about striking the land, we're talking about the people, because again of disobedience. And I will feed the flock of slaughter, even you, O poor of the flock. And I took unto me 2 staves, the one I called beauty, and the other I called bands, and I fed the flock. Verse 8. 3 shepherds also I cut off in 1 month, and my soul loathed them, and their souls also hated me. Then said I will not feed you, that thy diet, let it die. He's turning his back on Israel here now, on us. And that is to be cut off, let it be cut off. And let that rest eat everyone the flesh of another. So those that remain, you know what? You just eat one another. The Father is really not playing. Really not playing here. We either going to do, hear, Shema, the words of this Torah, or the consequences again can be very, very dangerous. Because again, we must make sure that we keep a close eye on what's going on around us in the world today. This move that America made against Syria is a very, very serious attack. Okay, Mr. McCall, and we're going to pause for a minute. Okay, I'm going to need your time and your patience, because I really just want to finish up these 2 pages here, because again, we have Emmanuel coming down on the 27th, and he'll actually